Professor Zula Kitaka from Egerton University, the team leader for the STREM project for Egerton.
My name is Andreas Bauer. I'm a researcher from the Institute of Development Research and I work in system sciences.
My name is Asanyo Grace Asio from Chambogo University, particularly from the Department of Biological Sciences.
My name is Andy Melcher. I'm the former head of the Institute for Development Research at the University of Natural Resources and Life Sciences in Vienna. The short name is, the acronym is BUCU University, and my role in the project is that I'm the project coordinator, one of the project coordinators, together with the African partners.
The project is mainly coming from the fact that millions of East Africans are depending on rivers as their source of water for their domestic and agricultural uses. But at the same time, we see that the quality of these water resources is deteriorating, mainly due to point and non-point pollution coming from different anthropogenic activities. And we see that there is a need to have water quality monitoring. Much of the water quality monitoring that is going on is depending on short-term evidence like physical and chemical parameters, and yet there are other modes of assessing water resources. So the project is coming in to have an innovation whereby you can create community monitoring models that could give more evidence in terms of biomonitoring and involvement of the communities in order to have sustainable management of the river resources in the region.
There's a saying which goes, if you want to succeed, you work with community, not for the community. And I think I was very strong on this from the beginning of this. So we worked Chambogo as our principal, or maybe as our team leader for the project. But I think if I look back for the last 3 years, almost every institution became a team leader. That is how we worked in, because at several times we would have Professor Handy really guiding and dropping us on this aspect depending on what it was. I think I came in also very strongly driving on some of the activities, so as Chambogo. So it was a kind of a co-management in terms of partnership. And in terms of the communities, we also had the communities, really, they became strong partners, especially for Egerton, the Jororua. We have been working with Egerton with the communities for a long time, but I think even you had the community saying this is the first engagement where they were actually part of the solution. The first engagement where they became part of the project outputs.
I think mid-project it shifted a little bit. At the beginning it was more about initiating this process of community-led research. And now I think the main objective is to get people together to think about topics of ecosystem conservation. Yeah? Local communities, people from the government, people implementing policy, but also researchers.
STREM project created a forum whereby we could be able to engage the local communities and really learn from each other. So we co-created knowledge within the STEAM project. So we had different ways in which we engage the communities. We use what we call the T-Labs, and the T-Labs gives us an option whereby the community's voice is heard, the researcher's voice is heard, and also the government agencies is heard. So T-Labs means we have every community really giving an aspect of what they are doing, how they are doing it, and also able to identify the knowledge gap and identify on how to do things best.
It was possible to identify on different locations in different areas in Uganda, but also in Kenya, to identify the people's interest, the community's interest. And this interest is explained, or could be explained, by the interest of different stakeholders, water managers, authorities, but also the people itself, the local people, the fishmongers, the farmers, and also people depending on water. Everyone who is working and depending on the water and on the river got these questions: which river do you want, and what has to be implemented, and what has to be better done in the future.
During the validation and dissemination workshop, when we realized the communities actually went beyond and started on their actions which they promised us, where they have formulated a monitoring systems. For me, that is a milestone achievement as a project. They started a monitoring system where they are monitoring every month to ensure that they are able to get better water quality. And as a university, as part of the STREM project, we will actually be able to support that activities even beyond the project, so that we can make sure that they produce good quality data which can be used for even policy making and also for management strategy. The other thing which was also very good is the community realized the need for riparian zone, and they actually came up with a project where they started pegging and releasing, or maybe identifying, how far they can go towards the river.
From the community engagements, we could see there is increased awareness in terms of river resources, issues that are happening there, and the need to have community engagement. We have had cases for River Njoro. They are baby steps in the creation of community water quality monitoring for River Njoro. It has been stated. And in terms of River Mayanja, there's increased awareness in communities to get involved in the water quality monitoring. And in terms of the water authorities, there's increase in the awareness of consideration of all these different river resources that have been neglected, including Mayanja and many other small rivers. They have developed, they have been mainly focusing on rivers like Nina, River Mayanja, Katonga, Kagera, River Rizi, but there's need to even include other kind of capacity building. We have trained students on the program using the online training. We had a number of students who are over 38 students who are trained using the online mode in terms of river water quality monitoring. We've had students who are graduating both at master's and at undergraduate while working on this project. Even in terms of publication, we're having scientific publication, and finally we are likely to have, we're in the process of developing a policy brief that would substantially add to the management, to the available management options of rivers in the region.
The network we created, the network among academia, a new partnership, but also the network or the initiative we set, connecting the local communities with the researchers and also the policymakers to start this dialogue about discussing and taking ownership about topics of ecosystem conservation.
You know, the projects are not easy to run, but obviously there are issues to do with the scope. You would imagine that River Mayanja would be different from River Njoro. These were the case study rivers, but in terms of area covered by these rivers, quite different. River Mayanja is quite wide, and you needed more resources to cover that huge catchment. And that in terms of data, we had literature reviews, and you see some of these rivers in East Africa, there's very limited research done on them, and we're trying to scratch here and there to see that you're getting data to fill up the gaps in the literature. So those are the challenges.
This was a project which was initiated or started during the COVID. It is unfortunately we just got the funding and COVID stuck. There was a lot of lockdowns. There was a lot of activities. Therefore, we could not be able to go to the field as we had hoped we would want to do. But as a team, I like the teamwork. The team came up and said we are not going to sit back, and therefore we looked at innovative way how we can still answer the same questions we wanted to answer in a different way. And therefore the first year we spent a lot of time really doing literature review. And also I can say it was an eye-opener because a lot of people were not very conversant with online meetings, online engagement. And I think that was also an opening. Like I said, a challenge always provides a solution.
the project itself, it was never meant as a pure scientific project and a full project. It's a project with really a little budget where we had no money for staff costs, and not very much money, only very few for materials we needed for sampling and for establishing databases. So this means it was really to get this common understanding what we are doing and what can be done, and it should help to formulate further bigger projects, bigger fundings to continue this work. Of course, we did much more than we expected from the beginning, and it will really end and happen in this policy recommendations. And I hope that also the workshops and the discussion between and with the stakeholders and the communities help them to understand. I mean, it's very important to say that even just the discussion, just to show the peoples and the communities that there are institutions which are interested in the status of their waters, which are interested for a better life. What we bring here in the SDGs, and to bring here a better life for all. This is a big point, and it's also a very big point to strengthen the trust between communities and science. And I think this worked quite well, that scientists used not the very high level and very complicated language of scientific in the scientific world, so that we break this down into easy formulations and easy understanding, and explain to the communities what they could do by themselves to improve the situation. This has to be adapted in a kind of adaptive management approach, and has to be adapted to the specific situation. I mentioned here this old saying, which was used very much also from the General Secretary of the United Nations, Ban Ki-moon, the former General Secretary, and he said, think globally and act locally. And I think this has happened, and this is what we have achieved in this project, really to get a partnership between the scientific institutions, and we have been able to identify communities, and we have been able to identify also the problems which communities have, and we showed our endeavor and our mission, that science is not something in an ivory tower, that science is something which is could be really very applied and could be really used to get and to improve the situation and to make a better life of peoples.
I would like to thank African UNINET for funding this project. This was one of the project which was funded in the first phase in 2020, and therefore, even during the COVID, for them to trust us that we can be able to do research during such and certain time, I think it's a grateful recognition for us as a team. I would like to thank the partner institution management, Jambugo. The Vice Chancellor was able to meet the team and also confirm that they were going to support the initiative of the project. I would like to immensely thank Egerton University for all the support they have given us during this project, and of course for Boku. Boku has been one of our key partners, and we got a lot of immense support in Boku, and the same to ACTS. ACTS have got a unique field within this project where they come in terms of engagement of stakeholders and engagement in terms of communication, and we really appreciate this coming from ACTS. My team at Egerton University, led by Lorraine, Auma, and Priscilla for coming in when I asked.
I would like to thank the colleagues we've been working together, Dr. Gabi from Austria Boku, and then also Dr. Onyango Joel and Maureen Kabasa from ACTS, Dr. Nora Mutekanga Kiwanu Kamavias, Martin. We've been working together on this project. I'd like to thank them. They have really shown enthusiasm towards the project, and they've been there up to the end.
And I'm sure I hope for future cooperations. We already have with some partners cooperations for a long time, and I hope that we will have this. And I see this snowball effect from science, that we educate young people and students in this global understanding, in this global approaches, in this ecosystem management understanding, and I hope that they make the future, and they will form and structure a better life. Will be able to structure a better life for people and to implement this what was said here.
We have discovered there is hope that now the next phase, what we need to really engage on us as partners or as institution, is to ensure that the initiative done by the communities are now mentored and made perfect, so that we can even have community monitoring center with credible data which can be used for decision making and for policy making. So this has been a big contribution which could only happen with Africa UniNet funding. Thank you so much.